Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on this episode of L2G Athletics Presents. I'm Danica and this is David, and we're here with Serena, a runner from St. Louis. Serena, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Our first question is, how did you first get into running?
Yeah, so my entire running career has basically been colored by the fact that I came in like last place in a track meet in the 800 track and field when I was in like the 8th grade or something. So I've never considered myself a runner up until about 5 years ago when my husband was hospitalized with a neurological autoimmune disorder. And at that time, he was completely paralyzed. He couldn't hear, couldn't see, couldn't swallow. But before he lost all of his hearing, I told him that I would run the next half marathon for him, which was in the next April, because the previous April he had run a half marathon. And he was in incredible shape. So I knew that he wouldn't be in the shape to run another half marathon. So I told him that I would run that for him. And so I started training to do that through Couch to 5K. And that's really how I started running. I originally did it for him, and then as I got into it, definitely not in the beginning, decided that I really liked it and want to continue to do it for myself.
How long did it take you to get to a point where you realized you enjoyed it and you wanted to keep doing it for yourself instead of?
Yeah. So I started, like I said, with Couch to 5K. And I think a lot of people who just start running start with that program. It's hard. It's hard to start running. And I think in week 1 and week 2, it kind of like baits you into starting the program. It's a little bit easier. And it'll get harder and harder. And it's like, once you hit week 3, most of the time, that's when people hit a roadblock. And honestly, all you have to do is all you have to do, right? Like, it's easy, but you have to be able to push through that. And most Couch to 5K programs are 8 weeks. Some of them are 10. But it's really not until you get to that 8-week mark when you finish the program that things start to get easier. And that's when I started to enjoy it, when things weren't as hard, because running is always going to be hard. But you have to get to the point where like it's not as hard as it was in the beginning. And for me, that takes about 8 weeks. And other than that, it's just grit and perseverance and kind of pushing yourself through to get to that point.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings, actually we got on a sticker from the feed, which we get some of our nutrition from, and it says it never gets easier, you just get hungrier. And I think there's so much truth in that, because
That's the damn truth.
Yeah, there's no shortcut, it's always hard.
Yeah.
How are you doing in the social distancing times, and how has that affected you in your training?
Yeah, so I think like a lot of runners, all of the races, any races that that I had paid for and was signed up for, they got canceled. So I had signed up for a marathon, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that because I had a shin issue, but I was going to try to at least run the half marathon or the 7K that they had, and that was canceled. So it's been a struggle. I'll just tell you that, because you're trying to push yourself through running when you don't have a race at the end of all of that. That combined with most of my running is done at lunchtime at work, and now I'm working from home in my basement. And it's hard for me to go upstairs and get ready to go for a lunchtime run when my husband's been with our 2-year-old for the whole day. And it's kind of like there's a guilt associated with taking that time for myself. So I have to find it and either just go on a walk with her, or with her in her stroller, or walk with her as she rides her bike or tricycle. Or yesterday I forced myself to get out and actually go and kind of push through the guilt and just know that in the end, I'm going to be a better mother and a better wife, a better person if I just go out and run, because that's what I need. That's what I need for some sanity. So it's really about trying to get to a place where you understand that there shouldn't be any guilt associated with taking that time for yourself, because you're just going to be a healthier, better person if you go and do it. And I think that's something that a lot of people are struggling with right now.
Yeah, and it's difficult. It's a really good perspective because 8 weeks ago, if you were training for a run or a race, that was kind of like your priority.
Mm-hmm.
Well, priorities have shifted so much now that
Right.
it's trying to reassess and figure out where that fits into everything. The medal isn't as important now as it was 8 weeks ago, and I feel like a lot of people are running now for the true benefits of it, of what it's doing for your mental health and all that side of it. And like that to me, if you can keep that benefit and get that benefit now and hold on to it, that you're going to get gains of that for forever.
Exactly.
So
Right.
that's just kind of my 2 cents on what running has turned into now. And it's crazy how everything has changed, but everything has changed. So we're just kind of all navigating it together. So
Literally everything. Yeah, I tried to run in a mask yesterday. That was awful.
awful.
It was awful.
That's a good tip, because I've been trying to figure out how we're going to do
It's hard
that.
enough to just breathe in the mask, let alone I've
Yeah.
never tried running in it yet. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I put it on when I was within 100 yards of anybody, and then took it off after I passed 100 yards from them. So like, if I knew I was safe and by myself, but if I could see anybody, literally I would put it on.
Yeah. We're very considerate of your neighbors and doing your responsibility of social distancing. And we've all got to get out at some point. You go crazy just being in the house all day. So you've got to do it. We've all got to do it. But Serena, thank you so much for joining us today on this edition of L2G Athletics Presents. We look forward to talking with you more down the road.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
Stay safe.